Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon / this evening. We do have an online audience. I just want to say hello to the online audience. I got told not to look into the camera, but I'm looking. And welcome to everyone who is here today. So thank you for taking the risk, COVID and all. We are all distancing in a ticketed area, so we are all fine. We are truly excited to be able to see some amazing companies tonight. We're going to tell you a little bit about that shortly. For those who don't know, my name is Pauline, and I head up River City Labs with an amazing team. I would like to welcome the investors in the room today. So not everyone could make it, some are online. So we'll be taking your questions post the pictures, and we'll tell you a little bit about that shortly. I'm speaking today from an area where I would like to acknowledge the Yurraga and Turrbal people as the traditional owners of the land in which I'm speaking from today. I pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I also extend respect to all First Nations people and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. They were the first scientists, astronomers, geologists and ecologists, engineers, building the deep knowledge about the nature of the world in which we have lived for thousands of years. Here in Australia, innovators today continue to build on the tradition of inquiry, curiosity and custodianship, adding to the rich social and scientific knowledge of this country. Tonight, you will hear from just some of those who are paving the way through technology to deliver something beyond our shores into the world. The goal of tonight is to enable our startups to grow and through their network and yours, actually connect to future customers or seek and raise capital and gain investment. So I encourage you all to promote and connect with them offline and show the support for Queensland companies who are going to be doing amazing things and already are. But without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage Lou Jury, who's our entrepreneur in residence of the Activate Plus program.
Hello everybody. Hello everybody online. It's great to see you. I'm also looking at you over the camera. There's lots of you that are locked down. We feel for you and we're thinking of you, so hello. I'm Lou Jury. I'm the entrepreneur in residence here at River City Labs and also for the Activate Plus program, which is an awesome program that is fostering some of the best talents and founders out of here in Brisbane, but they come from far and wide, and I'll introduce them in a sec. We've got a huge night for you, but before I introduce the teams, I just want to give you a quick update on some of the progress. So about 12 months ago, we came up with the idea of Activate, and Activate Plus then has spun out from that to give more accelerated teams an opportunity to really showcase their wares, and it's really encouraging that 7 of the Activate cohort from previous cohorts, we've had 3 so far, have actually gone on to raise capital. So everything about what Pauline said at the end about raising capital is paramount to what we do. We're looking at fostering and nurturing and mentoring and providing the structure and advice from amazing mentors here at River City Labs, and then setting them free with capital to help them grow and then follow them on their journey, following on hopefully with extended amounts of capital. So in my role as entrepreneur in residence, I'm also the managing partner and founder of Sprint Ventures, which is a venture capital firm that's based here in River City Labs. And one of those firms that came out of the Activate program was called UPay, and UPay have just raised $4 million after going through the process of what you're going to see tonight. So there is actually real tangible outcomes coming out from awesome programs just like Activate Plus. So tonight, it's more about the teams you're going to see pitch. It's really awesome. We've got teams from around Queensland actually pitching tonight. We've got Kiddo from Brisbane. We've got SwapU from Logan. We've got Hello Good World from the Gold Coast. We've got Bazzle from Brisbane. Leagster from Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast. So they're both here. We've got Midnight Health from Brisbane as well. So a little bit about the program. We kicked off Activate Plus on the 14th of June. So this is about a 6-week program. So what you're seeing tonight is an accelerated accelerator. And we don't try and do everything and cover off every single area that you might need to improve or what the teams need to do to get investment. But what we try and do is break off one core thing out of the desirability, the feasibility and viability of the business models. And so they've had weekly stand-ups, they've had mentoring sessions, they've had EIR sessions, they've had lots of workshops, huge amount of introductions and meetings. They've had pitch practice, more pitch practice. They've had tests, they've had more pitch practice, refinements to their pitch decks, and they've had coaching sessions from a variety of mentors. So they're probably going to be really exhausted, but they should be really proud of how far they've come. But the great thing about this particular cohort that I've personally seen, and also Pauline has reflected as well, is the amount of collegiate nature that this cohort has brought, and they actually have all offline and also in their own organised themselves, actually caught up and helped mentor each other. So the 4 that you see go first are actually part of the Activate Plus program, and they've all actually helped each other to get where they are. So really proud of what you guys have achieved. I also want to say thank you to all the entrepreneurs and the mentors and the experts that have actually helped part of this Activate Plus program and provided amazing content sessions and also the advice throughout the program. So thank you wherever you are. And I know there's a lot online, so thanks. So yeah, we're all about growth and scaling a business. We're all about taking that awesome idea, those amazing founders, and providing the structure and the rails to help them grow. And we focused on 3 core areas, and you'll see this actually being pitched in tonight. And look out for them. It's about desirability. So desirability is about what the customers are saying. Is there a desire to use the product? So show us evidence on your hypothesis of that. It's feasibility of the business model, the technology that you're going to use, and what is going to become essentially in our world repeatable and sticky. So really important for continued success. And then the viability, sustainability of the business model, the partnerships you can build, and how they can provide global leverage and scale. So they're the 3 things we try and look at, and look out for them, as I said, in the actual pitches, what you see tonight. Before we get into the first pitch of the evening, please make sure you're using the hashtag RCL Activate, and you can basically go online. RCL Activate is the one to use. And the format of tonight is going to be a 5-minute pitch, and then it's going to be a 10-minute Q&A. And we welcome anybody to ask questions, both here in the room and also online. You'll be able to ask them online, and we'll ask them through the channels here. And there'll be a mic floating around that Pauline will have. Pauline will be actually put your hand up and we'll come to you, but it's 10 minutes of Q&A. But look, it's enough about me. You're all here for the pitches. So let's get to the first one, and it's Rebecca from Kiddo. Please welcome Beck.
Good evening. Welcome everybody. My name is Rebecca Dredge. I'm the CEO and founder of Kiddo. Meet Amanda. She's a mother of 2. She's career driven. She likes to be organised, but is often time poor. She struggles to balance work, life, and her children. The day comes when she needs to find in-home care for her children. She needs a babysitter or nanny. So she reaches for her phone. She texts babysitters that she knows. It takes them days to respond. They can't help. She turns to Facebook posts. Many people reply, but none of them are verified. It overwhelms her as she doesn't know who they are. Finally, she turns to an agency. They're expensive. It takes too long. She's overwhelmed, so she gives up. Unfortunately, 55% of parents are like Amanda. They've either stayed home or missed a day's work because they couldn't find care for their children. This is a similar situation for NDIS parents. 32% of NDIS parents are not fully spending the funding that is allocated for their children because it is too hard to find care. And it's just got worse with the COVID pandemic. The UN Global Gender Report confirms that parents, women in particular, 53% are experiencing a decreased work capacity because they're trying to juggle children and work. There is a problem for parents worldwide. The in-home care market is enormous worldwide. Global childcare makes up a large portion of this. The opportunity for Kiddo to make headway in Australia and the globe is huge. Our vision is to be the world's leading platform for the provision of in-home care. So far, we have 9,000 people that are a part of our Kiddo community. These are people from all walks of life, and we have impacted We have impacted their lives every day. I am so proud of this. We have worked closely with our kiddo tribe. I have listened to them for the last 18 months, and we understand what people want when it comes to in-home care. We've been nationally recognised for our efforts, featured on A Current Affair. We've topped the charts on the app stores. We have over 100 5-star Google reviews. Kiddo has provided parents a platform and a community of carers to instantly match. Think of us as Airbnb crossed with Calendly for in-home care. Our unique mix of features make up our USP, including the ability to book instantly, government standard background checks, reviews and ratings, seamless in-app payment, calendar syncing, and messaging. Our IP moat that can be replicated easily to other markets. Our business model is simple. We currently take a commission from each booking. We've continued to make this sticky by listening to our customers and offering them recurring bookings. Our next phases of NDIS provision for care are underway. We launched in October 2019 in Southeast Queensland. We've achieved over 650,000 in bookings since then, experienced 236% growth in bookings year on year. We have a solid MRR that continues to grow even despite COVID impacting us. And we have over 2,200 carers on our database. We are ready to take kiddo to the next level, and we have validated this in the market. Yes, there are others competing in the market, but no one has truly solved what parents need when it comes to finding care. Parents are after something that is simple, seamless, and instant. For carers, they want a way to manage their ongoing bookings. Current options in the market simply provide for an introduction, then people revert back to the back and forth communicating. Kiddo saves people time, and that's what makes us special. A little bit more about our team. Kiddo is led by myself, Rebecca. I'm a mother of 2. I'm a supercharged founder. I have 15 years experience in banking and finance, a CPA. I'm assisted by a small but driven team. We are looking to grow this. Most recently, we've welcomed Sarah on board. Her past experiences include acting as company secretary for GA. We're super excited about this. Personally, I am super passionate about helping women, and I have continued to do this throughout my kiddo journey. Over the next 12 months, we will roll out kiddo and scale throughout Australia, roll out our NDIS product. We will be the market leader of in-home childcare services. No one can say that in Australia. Following this, we will roll out to New Zealand and also roll out to aged care. This has been we've had so much feedback about this. We're super excited to roll this out. Kiddo will dominate in this space. We will be a household name. Tonight, I'm looking for investors that have the capacity and the connections to help us take us to the next level. Tonight, I'm super excited to open our seed raise. I'm seeking funding of $1 million. This is to grow our team and to scale. We've built our technology and we just want to roll out kiddo to everyone. My name is Rebecca Dredge. I'm super passionate about helping others. So is kiddo. I would love for you to join me on this journey. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for the audience?
It's a boring question, but insurance, if there's some sort of incident or whatever when the child is with the nanny, is there insurance coverage or what happens in that case?
Yep. So at the moment, kiddo has its own public liability, professional indemnity, cyber insurances. With the rollout of our VIP subscription, we will offer that to parents as a part of that model to protect parents.
Who do you think will be your national and global competitors?
Well, at the moment, nationally, people think of Mabel, but I don't know if anyone's ever used that. That's just for the NDIS space. That's just a barrage of information scrolling through. It's very time consuming. Feedback from NDIS plan managers have reached out to me saying, hey, Beck, you need to roll this out for children in NDIS. It's such a time saver. So it saves parents time and NDIS plan managers. So yeah, our goal is to work with them to help spread the kiddo word and grow. And globally, no one is offering what we're doing either. Yeah, it's that instant booking.
Rebecca, it's such a great idea. I'm a mother of two,
Yeah.
but it was a long time ago that my kids were little, and I would have loved something like this. So, yeah, thank you for what you're doing for parents in Australia and hopefully around the world. A couple of quick questions: route to market and customers. You know, how do you get customers? And like a part B to that is, have you thought about partnerships that you go with to get to those customers?
Yeah. So to date, it has been organic, and I guess that's a part of providing something that parents love. You know, they're our biggest advocates. I'm currently in discussions with a number of parties with different channels for partnerships, both globally and Australia. Yeah.
Round of applause for Rebecca.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome up Nick from SwapU.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Robertson. I am the founder and CEO of SwapU. SwapU, swapping evolved. So this is Brian. Brian is changing cars because his needs have changed. He knows that if he takes it to be traded in, he's going to lose out. He needs to have a different way. There needs to be a different way. It can't keep happening this way. This is Emily. Emily has loads of clothes. She's a young mum. She's got loads of clothes, loads of toys, and soon she's going to need more loads of clothes and more loads of toys. Or we've got Cameron. Cameron has shelves of games, and he's going to be playing more games. Those games, those toys, those clothes, they're going to stay there. They're all going to go unused. And quite often they're going to go unsold. They're not alone. 85% of Australians, according to Gumtree second-hand economy report, have $5,800 worth of goods on average in every home. That's $46 billion. But most crucially, 20% of those items will go unsold, unused again, and will go into waste. That's billions of dollars wasted. That's in Australia alone. You can imagine throughout the world. So the problem is how we consume. The problem is we only currently speak through cash as our medium of transaction. What about value? Global goals. The United Nations has 17 sustainable development goals. Today I'm going to show you how swapping can help solve 8 of those sustainable development goals and make the path less linear and more circular. So the good news is people already swap. Thousands of people swap. There's swapping posts constantly, all the time on Facebook, on Marketplace, on Gumtree, but they're not served. They're allowed to they can put their things up there, but nobody helps them. Nobody helps them. And the problem is a good swap is hard to find because that person who's put that item up has to find exactly what they want, and that person also have to want their ideas, the classic double coincidence. Also, we have the chicken or the egg scenario. How do you build a marketplace where everybody can swap something? This is where fiat currency comes into its own. And of course, I'm not advocating we don't use money, but I'm advocating the use of value where money doesn't always apply. Also, nobody's tried this before because there's no money in it. I'm going to show you there is. So our competitive analysis, we can't compete with Facebook, Gumtree, as far as market size goes. But one thing we do is we are optimized for swapping. So swappers know us, swappers come to us. So SwapU, we already exist. We've got 7,000 users, over $500,000 worth of listing, over 1,000 swaps made. We help people swap what they can't sell or what they won't accept the cash amount for. How does SwapU work? First of all, we create a marketplace. Then we find the swapper. Then we help you arrange the swap. Then we connect you to where the service is. We connect the swapper to the service they need. That's where swapping is the opportunity. Swapping isn't just two people making a connection. They might need a roadworthy certificate or a delivery, or there's other points where we can connect them and then take a cut of that business. Then we repeat. The good thing about swapping is you repeat, you swap over and over again. And that's what we want from our customers. We don't want them to consume as much, and they don't want to consume as much. So our goal is to turn online shopping on its head. Imagine currently you get a free delivery when you buy something. That delivery is, of course, put into the price. Imagine you put your item on your doorstep, a courier company comes and takes it, picks it up, and to you, you get a new thing. So you get a free item, but you pay for delivery. So we're going to flip that around. Size of the market, as we discussed, is huge. Second-hand economy, $46 billion. 9.2 of those $1 billion of that goes unsold. We want to get those people to swap. So we're aiming for 10% of that market to get swapped. Our business model, freemium, but our freemium people are funneled through commission referral. Subscription currently at $10 a month, and people get to see for 24 hours in advance. And also we're building in a unique swapping pool and swapping chain that will allow us to charge pay per swap. And on top of this, we take a cut and commission of deliveries throughout the process. So our projections, we have a profit, we're aiming for a profit at 17,000 users of active users. Now, I'll stipulate that currently our users aren't active as much as we'd like. We're new into the market. We need them to come through, but that's our aim. And that's with 10% generating revenue. Interestingly, a swap isn't just one person making a transaction, it's two. So one swap equals two transactions. So there's 2 points of making money there. We're aiming for a $250,000 profit at 50,000 users. And our CAC, this is based on Facebook ad spend at about $1.60. Roadmap, our MVP is complete. UI and UX needs to be refined because swapping isn't shopping. So we need to make sure people swap in a way on an app that it's a challenge. So that's what we're working on at the moment. Marketing and partnerships. And then we've got a SaaS product in the making. Crypto is interesting. Crypto is a very interesting space here, especially with tokenization. We're looking at business inventory and services, data swapping, and very interestingly, carbon credit units, because we can record the carbon credit people say, sorry, the carbon savings. So people like us. Proof. This is proof that people are happy with what we're providing to them. We've had some positive press. Most importantly, statement of support from Planet Arc. We're working closely with Sendle, with SwiftX, and we're certified by Social Traders. So our team, my name's Nick. I am a teacher. How does a teacher become the swap? Well, talk to me after about it. I'll tell you all about it. I used to be the chef for Cirque du Soleil. I used to travel the world with them as a nutritionist. Great stories. I'd love to talk to you about that. And Jeff. Hi, Jeff. That's Jeff. Jeff is our CTO, and it's great to have him on board. He's the tech brains behind the organisation. My ask from you today is to put something. You've all got something in your home that you can swap. You've all got something in your garage that's going to sit there. You're going to leave it there. It's going to leave it there. You're going to go. Then you're going to put it out for hard rubbish. And you know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to take that and they're going to want it. You can swap it when it's got value. That's what SwapU is about. The point where you can't sell it, still has value, put it on SwapU. I'd also like to be able to connect with you and to be able to send you some monthly updates if I can. So that's my ask for the day. Contact is there, and my name's Nick. That's Jeff, and we are SwapU, and we'd love to chat after today.
We'll pick up a question from online from Gary. Currency solves all the limitations of barter transactions. How does SwapU help?
Right, okay, so this is where we've created a unique swapping pool and swapping chain. So what that does is it eliminates the double coincidence and it allows people to put more items in. It becomes kind of like a swapping auction. It's not live yet, but I'd definitely like to invite Gary to watch this space.
So I have a fun story, very good presentation. So many years ago, we swapped an apartment in Nice for a block of land in Yasura in Brisbane. Nice. We were in Brisbane and the other owner was in Brisbane. Obviously, we had to negotiate. Right, yeah. But there is a real opportunity here because if you can make your universe large enough.
Yes, yes. And thank you. And that's one thing that SwapU already does as well. We allow people to add cash or take away from cash and put that into the transaction. So the UI and UX that we're really aiming at to make really sing for us is the ability to get people to negotiate in a way that's easy and allows everybody to be a winner. That's what we want. Great. Nice, an apartment in Nice would have been. I know where I'd rather live though, in Nice, definitely.
No, but we wanted to get rid of the Nice apartment, so we got the land, and then we sold the land.
Right, so there you go. So you were able to liquidise that you had to go a different step, but you're able to liquidise that asset, liquidate that asset. Yep.
How you going? My name's Gavin.
Hi, Gavin.
Thank you for the presentation. Have you considered swapping services? Did you mention that before in your presentation?
That's something that we have considered. One challenge with that is GST around the service, because if you're a plumber and you put your service up to swap, you still have to pay the GST because you've claimed that in your tax. So that's something we have considered. We have swap services. Once we had a macaw experience. So a person on the north side does macaw experiences, they're big birds, and they swapped that for something else. So that was good. So, but that would definitely work. It just requires a different focus that I guess we've started here, and we'd like to.
Because I guess you enter the realm of contra.
Yeah, and it becomes a little bit more complicated. So this is, I guess, the easiest space to go with. But thanks, Kevin.
Can I just add something to that? Just what we're swapping. I think we talked about consumer goods and services, but data is another thing. So government, for example, have data they can't price, but they have in-kind value. It's not actually marketplace for swapping data with in-kind value. So that's something that.
Yeah. So data, which isn't always, which is very broad.
You don't want that. So I'll swap my data set of vegetation. Yeah. And you give your water data set. So keep it swapping IP.
Sorry, did you get that? Yeah. Jeff's the person on that.
Do we have any other questions? No? Thank you so much, Nick.
Thanks, everybody.
And now we have Rachel from Hello Good World.
Hello, I'm Rachel Whitworth, and I'm the founder of Hello Good World. 3 years ago, I actually left my daytime job in marketing to actually look at how I can use my skills to help make an impact. Today, I'd like to welcome you to the world's first platform that's actually going to drive true social change through the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Think Amazon meets Cancer. Because we are 43 years behind schedule in reaching the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals as set out to be achieved by 2030. But there is hope. A social enterprise, for every $1 spent, is at least $3 worth of value back into the community, but they are struggling to be found right now. So, we start with an ethical shopping market for ethical shoppers to find products that they like using the Sustainable Development Goals. All of the brands that are on board are rated as a good business. And we're driving towards the goals to receive a Hello Good World Gold rating, which would allow for them to prove that they are showing a real impact with what they are doing. In our market research, 92% of people said that they would be really interested, yes or maybe would be interested in this program, because we were validating them on a scale and not just a stamp of approval, but also really small business friendly and giving them an output of e-commerce sales. Our next stage is that we're building a piece of software that actually scores each and every business out of 100 for ethics, sustainability, and cause-driven activities. At the moment, current certifications really are just a stamp of approval. And after talking to a lot of small business in this sector, they're finding it really hard to get this validation at such an early stage. They're also not proving to be giving any kind of e-commerce outputs to create the true change that they need. So our other competition is looking at people like Google, Amazon, eBay, that are also known for quite unethical behavior. There are 2 million social enterprises in Europe alone. This is estimated to be a 24 billion online industry per year. We started a startup just 9 weeks ago, startup weekend just 9 weeks ago. Since then, we have over 20 merchants already. We've also gained traction. People are getting really excited about this product. We've even been featured in podcasts in the US. Currently, we're charging a 20% commission. And as we roll out our further validation, we're also looking at having a $100 a month fee to have the validation scale continuously driving to increase the score out of 100. We're also aiming to become the Hello Good World ecosystem for social entrepreneurs here in Australia and overseas. In the next 2 years, we're not just hoping to establish ourselves here in Australia, but to go overseas, to go over to Europe, where there are over 2 million social enterprises in Europe alone. We're hoping to establish ourselves in these international markets to create that true change. So we're a small but mighty team. I have been in the social enterprise sector for the last 3 years. I've also had previous experience working with marketing budgets of $10 million a year. We have James, who is our CTO. James is our CTO. He has got a lot of experience working with multiple different development companies to actually create this moving forward. And we have Treve. He is our data scientist, and he has had the skills with 5 major international banks to take this to the next level and help us with the software. So our ask today, we're here to wind back that time, that 43 years that we are behind schedule, and help drive towards those sustainable development goals with people that are interested in making an impact in the world. We're also looking for 28 further founding merchant partners to join us, so we can continue to build on the platform. And finally, we'd like you to say hello to a good world by shopping with us.
Do we have any questions in the room?
Great presentation, lots of things to ask, but have you costed and how are you actually going to rate everybody?
Yeah, so we have a letter of intent that we're submitting to the United Nations, because we would love to use all of the different elements of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals to actually use those accreditations. At the moment, our current validation system is based on business model, ethics, and sustainability in the supply chain. And it's also looking at the impact model and if it has actually made a difference.
Thanks for a great presentation, and it's a fabulous time to be doing this. I mean, COVID has really made people, for whatever reasons, much more aware of all these things. So it's great timing to do it. My question is, why do merchants care? Like, because there's a lot happening in this space. Loads of talk about ESGs and climate impact, etc. So what makes you really, really stand out?
The feedback that we've got is really that this has become small business friendly, because obviously over 90% of business here in Australia is small business, and it's just become so much more accessible. They also loved the idea of being validated on a scale, because this isn't just available to social enterprise, it's also available to those that are working towards a social enterprise model. So ethical, sustainable business can also be validated. They just might be working on that course.
In terms of the market for the public site and the people that will be going on there and transacting on there, are you just targeting consumers and the sale of products? Are you looking at potentially business to business and products and services, or just consumers and products?
Right now, we're focusing on product-based business, but we recognise that the business to business, the services are a huge part of social enterprise as well. We do see ourselves doing that, but probably on a second platform, so the two don't get too intermixed, because it's two very different audiences.
Round of applause. Thank you very much. I would love to welcome Deepti and Divey from Bazzle.
Imagine a world where organizing an event is as easy as ordering a pizza. Good evening, everyone. My name is Deepti, this is Divey, and we are the founders of Bazzle. And we are building the world's most convenient event concierge platform for people organizing their own events. Now, why is this needed? Because currently there are too many pain points when it comes to organizing an event. We've all been there, whether it's organizing a small get-together with friends or a larger event. But imagine having to do it regularly, like Doug, Melina, and Anna. Doug is a small business owner, and he organizes promotional events for his business every quarter. He's already time poor, but is stuck organizing it himself. Then we have Melina, who's also similarly time poor. And part of her role is to organize events for her team. And Anna has just been asked to be maid of honor, and now she needs to help plan the engagement party and the hens night. To organize these events, they'll be jumping through many hoops to get vendors. They'll be searching on Google, calling and emailing them to get quotes. And because they want the best deal, they'll want at least 3 to 4 quotes per vendor type. Now, if they need a photographer, venue, and a caterer, that's more than 10 quotes they need to find and compare. Then to hire them, they'll be paying them over different payment methods and communicating over different channels, often repeating the same information multiple times. This current process is old school, disconnected, and broken. We also surveyed more people like Doug, Melina, and Anna, and found that the answers were very similar. Finding vendors for events is hard, and 95% of these people want a simple solution, and 89% of them are willing to pay for it. The problem doesn't just exist in Australia. We reached out to our network around the world and found the same answer. Finding vendors for events is hard no matter where you live. The opportunity here is huge. This is the events management industry, worth $1.4 trillion worldwide. With our current focus in corporate and personal events, that's a market worth $18.6 billion. With so many people having this problem, there needs to be a solution.
And Bazzle is that solution. We empower people like Doug, Melina, and Anna to hire vendors and plan their event from a single epicenter. I am proud to introduce you to the Bazzle platform, a single integrated solution where you can find, hire, and manage all your vendors and plan your event all in one place. With our simplified process, it takes just 4 steps to organize your event. Let me show you how we'll make event organizing easy for everyone. By using our rich pool of vendors, you get all the quotes from all the different vendors in a single request. You'll never need to be on 5 different websites looking for vendors ever again. And because all vendors are pre-screened and have reviews from previous customers, you don't need to spend any more time on Google looking for reviews. Once you've selected your vendors, you can pay all of them with a single click. Without Bazzle, you would be paying each vendor one by one using different payment methods. But it doesn't just stop at vendors. You can continue planning your event by creating guest lists, sending in invites, and tracking RSVPs. Bazzle is now your one-stop shop for organizing any event. Our competitors only offer services in vertical domains. So you'll be looking for a photographer here, caterer here, and a venue here. Bazzle brings it all together into a single platform to save you time. Rachel and Caitlin agree with this. They didn't want to use 3 different apps. By using Bazzle, they can simplify their process and just use one. And they're not alone. Since our launch, we've had great traction. We've got more than 200 vendors on board and certified. And they love Bazzle because we're opening up another channel for them to get more customers, especially after COVID. We've also had more than 20 Doug, Melina, and Anna's already planned their event on Bazzle to find vendors with a budget of more than $50,000 flowing through the platform. Our business model is simple. We charge a 10% transaction fee when a vendor is hired through the platform. And this fee is split between the vendor and the organizer. We're currently pre-revenue and we're working on improving our product market fit. So why are we the perfect team to shake up the event management industry? Well, we've all been there when organizing our own events. The current competitive landscape doesn't work. The current experience for the consumer is suboptimal. So we've decided to change that. And we can because we know how to infuse technology into manual processes and build scalable systems. I've spent the last 8 years doing exactly this in the world's biggest mining company, deploying similar solutions for more than 100,000 users. On top of this, we've got a great mix of masters and PhDs and previous startup experience. So we're a well-rounded team. And with this team, we'll expand our operations across Australia over the next 6 months, gain more customers and vendors, and generate revenue. After that, we will expand internationally to a few selected countries and rapidly scale from there.
Our vision for a better tomorrow is to become a B Corp and use our ecosystem to drive sustainability through our vendors and events. So if you'd like to be part of this vision, here's what you can do. If you're an investor, we are raising a $500K safe to boost us through the next 6 months. And for those online, if you're an event vendor, jump on our platform and offer your services. And to our friends in Sydney whose lockdown has just been extended, tell vendors that you know about Bazzle, and let's think of creative ways we can bring them business during this difficult time. And finally, if you're organizing an event and don't know where to start, sign up and
Just Bazzle it.
Thank you very much.
So I'm the appointed sort of events coordinator for my friendship group. So I love the sound of your product. It saved me much time. I guess, you know, the question with two-sided marketplaces is always how you get enough on both sides. And, you know, it takes a lot of time pouring through different venues to find one that sort of suits your budget and your needs and so on. So what are your plans for bringing the vendors on board, particularly so that you've got good coverage there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at the moment, we're actually putting ourselves as a managed ecosystem for vendors and events. So that means we're not going after all the vendors. We have an exclusive way of bringing our vendors on board. So it's not going to be everyone. It's going to be the right vendors that meet the criteria, that can provide the right experience for the event organizer. So as the way we grow our vendors is currently through our marketing channels, and we bring them on board, make sure that they meet our criteria, and then they can provide the right experience to you as the event organizer. So we're kind of staying away from the two-sided marketplace, focusing ourselves as a enclosed, nurturing ecosystem first that grows.
So does your platform aim to cut out or collaborate with event planners, event planning agencies?
So great question. So Collaborate, it will be a tool to help planners also, you know, find vendors and also plan their events. Like we said, we've got a mix of functionalities. It's all about the end-to-end. So get your vendors and then plan your event all in a single system. So it's for consumers as well as event planners.
I'd just like to build on that. When I see a platform like yours, I just see data. So it'd be brilliant if you could take all that data and do something smart with it. Like I'd like to go to a platform and I haven't got a clue how to run a baby shower or whatever. I've got no clue whatsoever. How do you know what to look for first? It'd be brilliant if your next phase and take all that data and you can start making some smart frameworks we like with this.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And we've actually built already some smarts that recommend depending on the event you're going for. So each event that you click on into Bazzle, it will lead you into your own different journey based on that. And great idea that will improve over time as people use it.
A round of applause. Thank you. Next up, we have Sarah from Lisa.
Hi. Did you know the average water utility in Australia loses $50 million of water a year due to bursts and leaks? $50 million. My name is Sarah, and I'm the co-founder of a company called Leakster. We've got an IoT sensor that goes into a water distribution pipe that remotely monitors the condition of water networks. We're working really closely with utilities in both Australia and the UK to commercialize our technology. We've just signed a contract to roll our sensor out across 1,000 kilometers of network. We're looking to raise a seed round shortly, and I'm here today to talk to you about what we're doing and who we are. So prior to founding this business, I used to work at EY, and my job was to travel around the world and talk to utility executives about their issues. And a frightening statistic came up time after time, that about 30% of water was lost due to leaks and bursts in developed countries. And when you look at developing countries, the stat actually increases to 75%. Now, I kept hearing it, came back, and my co-founder Carla and I joined a hackathon, and we heard that. And it was during a time of drought in Queensland, and it was the problem statement that they gave at the hackathon. And we thought, you know what, we can solve this problem. Fast forward a couple months into the future, we entered an online hackathon, and we found ourselves in India. And in India, they gave us a tour of the infrastructure, and what we found was a big water pipe similar to this one running through the center of town, and there was sewage underneath, and the sewage was getting sucked up back into the pipe. So we all understand water as an issue due to drought and scarcity, but this was really the first time that sanitation came into it for me and Carl. So we came back to Australia, and we knew that we wanted to do something more. We did a little bit more research, and we found out that if we were able to reduce leaking pipes by 30%, we'd be able to provide water for 800 million people. That's a lot of water. So what we did is we went to the local utility and said, okay, we've heard this problem. What is it that you guys do? How do you solve the issue? And they said, you know, it's a challenging issue because water pipes are underground, so they can leak for ages before we can find a leak. What we do is we wait for somebody to call in. So we repair it. Once somebody sees a leak or a burst, they call it into the utility and they go and repair it. The other thing that we do is active leak detection. So we send somebody out with a listening stick, and the tech hasn't progressed much more than this. And they have a map and they trace the network looking for leaks. They also use sniffer dogs, and they put X marks the spot, and then they send out a technical, expensive piece of equipment that basically then pinpoints the leak. We said, okay, if you were to build something autonomous, what are the key KPIs that you would want it to tick off? So we sat down with the utility and said, what are the must-haves? To design a sensor that was real-time autonomous, was able to pinpoint the exact location of a pipeline leak, look at how much water was being lost through the different leaks that we were identifying, and being able to track that over time in order so that they could prioritize their maintenance. Also, other things we looked at was blockages, valve placements, and ultimately trying to get to a place where we can do predictive maintenance, predictive modeling, looking at predicting when a pipeline will fail before it fails. And the final thing was economic at scale. So we can roll this out across the network and make it as cheap as possible. Sounds easy, right? So we set out to do this. We've achieved the first 4. We've been working really, really closely with the utility and signed a contract based on the first 4 to roll the sensor out across a large portion of their network. We are a SaaS business, so we do have a bit of hardware, but we're also a SaaS business. We charge on a per kilometer per year basis, so $2,000 per kilometer per year. We're looking for large enterprise contracts, so between your 1 million to 10 million ARR. It's a huge global market, huge opportunity. We are focused on the moment, as I said, in Australia, the UK, and also the US due to the size of the issue and the challenges that they're facing. There's additional verticals that we can look to move into, including agriculture, also big water users, commercial, industrial water users. Lots of times they get leaks on the other side of the meter, and also the oil and gas sector. So when me and Carl started this business, we set out to have a team that worked for us, and we had really clear values defined. We wanted people that were honest, hardworking, humble, and hungry, and we think that we've achieved that. What sets us apart is really that we've got the skill sets needed to bring this to life. So we've got both the commercial skills and the technical skills, and we are backed by some amazing advisors. We've got Luke from Safety Culture, who's a business advisor, and we've been financially backed by Artesian Safety Culture and also Sprint VC. As we move forward to roll these sensors out, we're looking to raise a seed round, looking to raise $1 million. Interested to talk to anyone who likes what we're doing, knows somebody who might like what we're doing, or is interested in investing. We have a very clear vision. It's to disrupt water markets. So we want to lead the global digitalization of water networks across the world. If you have any questions online, feel free to shoot me an email, sarah@leakster.com.au.
Great topic, great talk. Competitive landscape globally?
Globally. So what I pointed out there with the listening sticks, the dogs, that's pretty much what exists. At the very cutting edge, there are some passive sensors. So they're basically listening devices that go into the pipes, and they place them every 100, 150 meters. They're very expensive. They cost about $2,000, $3,000. And they can't locate leaks. They just sit there and listen for a change in the network activity and then flag there might be a leak in this area. So the utility that we're working with in the UK is the leader in leak detection, and they use some of these sensors, but at scale, they're not economic, and there's a lot of issues with
I
them.
have a second question. I have had leaks and I live on acreage.
Okay, yeah.
Right. In the past, the council was kind.
Yeah.
But under urban utilities, they're not kind. So I check.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a weirdo, but I check my water every now and then.
Yeah.
And I definitely check my bill, because you can get a really large bill.
Yeah.
So from an IoT perspective, as a residential customer, I would be seriously interested, and it just annoys me that urban utilities hasn't got that feature there.
Yeah.
To say, if you want to, you can add an extra device to your meter.
On the meter, yeah.
Because we basically know our average consumption. And then reads their bill. And if you are consuming more than usual per day, it's really a simple thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? Then you've got a leak somewhere.
Yeah.
And you want to be notified.
Yeah.
So how far away are you?
I mean, we haven't, so we're, in all honesty, we're working with urban utilities. So we're working with the big person who has the leaks. Obviously that gets passed through to the customer and, you know, you see a new bill, but you don't know about it. We were just talking today about moving into big water users because it's not something that we've touched on, but we've been getting a lot of reach out from big water users saying something very similar. So
it's necessary. Like,
yeah,
it can be thousands.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I've had a leak at home as well. So it is something that we're looking to push into and quite soon. We've got a patent, Australian Innovation Patent. We're going for PCT patents in the 3 countries that we are operating in. I've really undersold the tech. There's a lot of, it's quite a deep scientific problem that we're doing. So the sensor itself, there's a lot of IP in how we send the signal, how the signal attenuates in the pipe. Pipes are very complex. There's a lot going on. There's different pipe materials, different sizes, different materials surrounding the pipe. All of these things change the signal. So there's IP around that. And then the process itself as well of sending the signal into the pipe, looking for a return signal. That is all new tech. That's something that we've designed and developed. So we're the first active leak detection. So it's all protected by patents. The algorithm itself, so there's also an algorithm that basically does some decoding. So it does some signal processing and there's AI associated with it as well. That is all, we haven't put that into a patent. It's going to be a trade secret because patents are very software. Algorithms are quite easy just to make a tweak. So we believe that to be the best strategy for protection.
So we had one unpatented, so thank you, Steve, and the audience. Are you targeting the public or private sector as customers? Question. And it seems to have a lot of potential to secure government grants.
Yeah, so in Australia, most water assets are owned by governments, so government-owned corporations. So that is our target. In America, it's different. There's a lot of publicly listed investor-owned utilities over there. So that is our main target market. It is suited to government, so we've looked at government grants, and we will continue to look for them, but they're also usually 50-50 match funding, so that's why we're raising $1 million. We've got opportunities to match that 50-50 with grants. We also got a female founders grant from the federal government, so that was, but one more thing, if you know anyone in the Ignite Advanced Queensland, we applied for the grant and we didn't get it, so hopefully this time around we'll be successful.
Thank you. Round of applause for Sarah. Up we have Nick from Midnight Health.
Hi all, I'm Nick from Midnight Health, and while half the country is in lockdown, it seems relevant that I'm here to talk to you about our mission to provide patient-led digital-first healthcare. As you can see, we've already established a great team that has a wealth of experience, and I didn't want to spend too much time talking about that, but I wanted to start with telling you a little bit about myself. I launched my first startups in 2008, and like most founders, had a couple of years of failing and learning until I ran out of money at the end of 2009. I then went and got a position as digital marketing executive at Flight Centre, which I left in mid-2011 to launch a business called Search Factory. Search Factory, after consistent growth year on year, was acquired by a global media group, Dentsu, in an earnout that finished in 2019. That same year, I was awarded the Brisbane and Australian Young Entrepreneur for Marketing and PR by Business News Australia. As finishing my time at Search Factory, I started looking at next opportunities and where there were opportunities in industries where there were large problems to be solved. And I kept circling back to healthcare. Individual healthcare market and the way that people spend on their own personal healthcare outside of government-funded initiatives present a huge opportunity. As you can see, over $500 billion in the US, $300 billion in APAC, and over $30 billion in Australia is spent in the individual healthcare market. We're specifically looking at areas in men's health, women's health, seniors health, gut health, medicinal cannabis, and also diabetes. The problem that we as patients and consumers experience is that healthcare is fragmented. When you're going to have an offline booking with your doctor to get a prescription for something that is a repeat that you already need, you need to go to pharmacies to pick up your treatments, you need to get a referral to go see a specialist. You need to get referrals to go to see pathology. All of these require fragmented experience and something that essentially as consumers creates a problem for us as we go to manage our own healthcare. The future of healthcare is in patient-led digital initiatives, where we can provide a consolidated consumer experience and patient-led healthcare that takes the control out of our healthcare providers and into our own hands. That being said, we must walk before we can run. And that's where we have Midnight Health 1.0, is essentially as we call it. So we've built a digital healthcare platform that connects doctors within our network to our patients and to the 50+ partner pharmacies that we have available to distribute people's treatments. Patients come in through one of our own brands on the left-hand side that you can see here, and essentially complete a questionnaire for treatments that they're looking for. Our doctors analyze, issue a prescription, which goes to our partner pharmacies who then deliver it. For a patient, the experience is seamless and very straightforward. As you can see there in step 1, it's just a matter of coming to our website, one of our brands, selecting a treatment, completing the questionnaire. Upon completing the questionnaire, this fires off to either doctor or pharmacist within our network who reviews, has a text-based consult if necessary, and then issues your prescription or issues approval of your treatment. This is then delivered to you via same day through our pharmacy network or by express posts, depending on which treatment you're looking for. Through our digital brands, we're providing unparalleled community support. We have online chat available 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. You can message your doctor at any time via text message as a follow-up after receiving your prescription. We have education through online content, brands that unite our communities, and we also have abilities to engage with our audience in something like asking a doctor through social media. We have a pricing model that is made up of 2 things. Firstly, you're looking at prescription treatments, where we charge $25 for the consult and prescription, and plus the cost of your treatment, which is delivered. And then we also have over-the-counter treatments. For example, something like emergency contraception, where you just pay for the cost of the treatment, and then we deliver it to you. There are competitors in this space in the Australian market, as you'll see. We have people like Pilot, Mosh, King, Rosemary, Instant Scripts, the sort of the leaders in digital healthcare. But the problem that we have is that no one provides a complete solution. And that's where we, in our development of Midnight Health, look to deliver on something that moves beyond what the current competitors in the market are doing. We launched our first brand in February 2021 with Yuli, focused on women's healthcare, offering treatments across contraceptive, HSV, thrush, and Australia's first emergency contraception delivery service. Since launching, we've had over 83,000 website visitors. We have over 18,000 social media followers, 43 5-star reviews on product review. We've been experiencing, seeing a lot of traction in press on news.com.au, Urban List, Daily Mail, Girlfriend, and many other publications. Our monthly revenue has grown month on month since launching. We've seen over 40% growth month on month from July to June, expecting to exceed $40,000 revenue this month. We've done over $130,000 revenue to date from 2,190 plus customers at an average revenue per customer of $59. This graph here is something that we think is super important to highlight, and we're looking at our compounded subscriber growth. One of the key parts of this model is in subscription-based customers who are getting ongoing treatments as part of their healthcare. Something like contraceptive pill, for example, is delivered to people on a quarterly, 6-monthly, or annual basis, depending on the extent to which they order it at a time. And so as you can see here, new subscribers that we have in light blue is new subscribers coming into the ecosystem, but the active subscriber number in the dark blue there shows that we've grown to over 1,200 active subscribers as we continue customer acquisition. Our 2021 roadmap shows us launching 5 brands this year into the market using the technology that we built to power our first brand, Yuli. Our second brand, Stagger, actually launched last week, and that's focused on the men's health space. We have a medicinal cannabis brand coming to market to leverage the change in TGA approval for Schedule 3 CBD oils. We have a gut health brand that we're looking to bring to market as well and provide personalized supplements for improved gut health. And then finally, we're looking to launch a seniors health brand to market as well. Each of these brands will be leveraging the technology platform that we've built, but we believe that it's important that each of these go to market with a different brand strategy, a different message, and to be able to cater to each of those users and provide something that's different and a more niche experience than what it is when you go to a general pharmacy or a general GP that doesn't necessarily cater to the specific needs of that audience. Our May 2021 annualized revenue was looking at 280,000. We expect to be at 2.85 mil by December 21, and a strong growth into 2022 to $28.2 million, 94 by December 23. And by December 24, we're projecting that we could obtain $200 million in revenue from the market. We're looking to close an equity round by September of $2.5 million. And we're looking to spend the majority of this on sales and marketing, some on technology and operational expenditure. We've bootstrapped to date, which has essentially allowed us to be able to build the platform, get to the point where we've started scale and growth in our customers, which means that the majority of the fund in the seed round will be able to use for scale and growth to essentially build a much bigger valuation of the company by the time we get to the end of the round. And that's me. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Nick, and congratulations on your presentation and the traction you've achieved so far today. Probably two questions, but might just start off with customer acquisition. So how do you think about your acquisition and what ways do you target customers at the moment?
Yeah, so I guess good question. And firstly, I come from a background of having built and grown a digital marketing agency. So as you can imagine, that obviously lends itself to having a lot of experience in this space. So currently we're acquiring users through a few different methods. We've had great traction through PR. We use digital marketing channels like paid social media, Google search. We're using sponsored partnerships with other advertisers. And we're also using a lot of influencer activities, is lending itself to getting pretty good results from a Yuli perspective.
Probably a follow-up to that. How are you finding the cost per click or the marketing? Potentially some of the competition up there. Are you seeing that the AdWords might be blowing out in cost at all, or what's your sense on?
Yeah, so our average overall cost per customer for Yuli is sitting at $35 at the moment, which is good. But what we actually find is that the cost per acquisition changes by product vertical. So, for example, HSV, the cost to acquire a HSV customer is essentially a lot higher than we're finding it to acquire a customer across something like thrush or emergency contraception or contraceptive. So for us, it's a matter of looking at things at a product vertical level, and we're finding that it does differentiate between them. So ultimately, as we're building the business and looking at the marketing engine, essentially that we're also developing, to roll out various treatments, it's a matter of us also essentially having CPA targets per product that we then be pretty fluid in chasing the things that are obviously getting us the best results and bringing customers into our ecosystem that way.
So just last one, sorry. On margins, what's your gross margin, I suppose?
It obviously varies between products, as you can imagine, but we're essentially averaging out at around 30% when we look at things at a whole ecosystem.
Gary, revenue numbers, are they gross or net?
They're gross.
And how would you compete with established players?
Yeah, so there's a few, and that's one of the conversations that I have pretty regularly. There's a few different ways to how we look at that. I mean, firstly, it's in the makeup of treatments and the things that we target. Ultimately, the healthcare market has a huge, broad number of treatments and different niches that can be targeted by different players. And so ultimately, I mean, I think there's a space like men's healthcare, which there's a few people would know is the most competitive currently in an online space. And so while we're playing in men's healthcare, there's also a number of other areas like some of the ones that I've mentioned there as next brands that we're rolling out, where there's huge opportunity to acquire customers across many different verticals to, I guess, where the current players are sitting. So, I mean, the short answer to the question is that to start with, in differentiation of the way that we roll out brands and roll out our treatments, yeah.
Hi, Nick. I'm Anna from Whitworth, and I need to just say I'm an investor in eucalyptus, so my question is quite pointed.
Yeah.
You talked about your USP bringing those various products together under a single umbrella, which of course Kin and Pilot are under the eucalyptus technology umbrella. Can you just elaborate a little bit more about where you see your point of difference with that suite of brands?
Yep.
I know there's plenty of room in the market, so I'm not saying it's bad if it's similar, but I'm just really interested to understand where you see the difference between the suite of products that you're offering and the suite of products that sit under an established brand, particularly the Australian market.
Yeah, I think the first point is, as you said, I think that certainly a big enough market to have multiple players, right? I see a handful of leaders in the market, and Eucalyptus being one of them, and then we intend to be one of the others. But I think that the first point of differentiation, I guess, from the point of where we're at now as a business, is to go down, follow different paths in terms of treatments and customer acquisition, things that we can look at. So, you know, in terms of, you know, we're talking here about medicinal CBD, we're talking about gut health, and then the number of treatments that we expand from a women's perspective. So say, for example, like Kin and Yulia are a great comparison, and obviously I don't understand what their roadmap is, but Kin and Yulia are a great comparison in the sense that they've built a brand centered around fertility, where currently our only competing product essentially from a consumer perspective is around contraceptive pill, whereas we're taking a more medicinal route, rolling out treatments, looking into other areas like sleep treatments, which will be launched tomorrow, and building out a more pharmacy-driven model in terms of what we're offering from a treatment perspective. So there's that area, and then there's the the other niche areas that we're looking to build out in. And then the second part to that question, I guess, is that ultimately in our mission to drive a patient-led, you know, digital healthcare platform, it moves well beyond where we're at now. And I think that to start with, it's these brands in market is the state of where the consumers are now from a patient perspective, but from where we look to grow the business and where we essentially look to differentiate from a consumer branded model is in our integration of other healthcare services, so that we can provide a platform where you enter and manage your own health and take that out of control of the doctors and the healthcare providers as it currently is. And so I think part of the response to that is initially user acquisition through the treatments and focus on different areas. And ultimately we lead towards those other areas because there's so much opportunity that it doesn't make sense for us to spend dollars chasing hair loss when there's like people pumping millions of dollars into trying to get hair loss clients, right? So that's the first part, but then it becomes the ecosystem that we build in a more holistic thing, so that you come into one of the Midnight Health brands and we help you take control and manage your healthcare and various aspects of it without having to go anywhere else.
I have to ask, with respect to the doctors, so are you going to try and, I mean, the fee isn't so great, but get Medicare rebates and things like that, or is that just a no-go?
So yeah, there's actually a lot of government conversation that's happening right now. They've brought in teams to look at how they approach telehealth moving forward. So as it currently stands, you can only get a bulk bill or a Medicare rebate by accessing telehealth from a doctor who you've already seen physically. So as it currently stands, we need to operate as a private practice where we charge the fee in a private manner, and it's not Medicare. You know, there's no Medicare rebate to it. Yeah, exactly. So we position it so it's cheaper. You know, it's cheap enough, and we pay our doctors out of that consult, make a tiny margin on it. But ultimately, it comes down to it's driven by two things, which is the way the government handles it, and hopefully moves towards more advancements in telehealth and improving the ability to access that when you haven't seen. You know, if you're in a rural area, sometimes you might not be able to get to see a physical doctor, and so I think, you know, hopefully there is a progression in that. The other element to that is that in part of the broader ecosystem that we're looking to create, we do want to have an alignment between online and offline with doctors and healthcare providers, and we see our next phase of our business to incorporate that. And so that's where, as it currently stands, if you went to visit your doctor and then entered the Midnight Health ecosystem from that, it would actually open up more opportunity for us to have Medicare funded interactions between you and your doctor. And that's something that we're looking to, you know, there's another stage of the business as well. We're looking to have that convergence in online and offline worlds to have a more holistic approach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to speak now, and I don't know the answer to this question, but how do you avoid the use of prescriptions by some people accessing things they shouldn't, or is that a government database and you don't have to worry about that?
So that, I mean, that comes into what we offer our consumers as well. So there's certainly things that, you know, drugs that can be abused and that sort of stuff that we just simply can't offer as an online prescription. So, you know, if you need a type of painkiller or codeine or endone or something like that, that's just something that won't be able to sit within the realm of what we can offer. So there will always, and that's part of the reason why we longer term see that there is some need for convergence between online and offline. Because if you have a problem that requires a drug that can be abused, then we're going to need to refer you to a physical doctor so you can sit down and have that prescribed to you. Thanks.
First lastly, thank you for everyone who's online and patient. I know there was a lot of questions. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to the founders. Their information is on across all our social channels. If you are an investor and you're looking to connect with the founder or watch their journey, I encourage you to reach out and continue to support and watch the amazing companies coming out of Queensland. Thank you so much to Lou Jury, also Daniel Johnson, who run our Pre-Accelerator programs with many of the mentors and experts that we have in our community. Thank you to our founders who have worked very hard to get to this point and will continue to do so, and to the wonderful team at River City Labs for all your hard work to put this type of event on. So have a wonderful night. Thank you, everyone.